Hey, church. Welcome back to the Just Like You podcast. We're on episode 7 now of season 2, and we're so excited to have you back with us. You're on with Sorzy.
And MJ.
Welcome back. Okay, we've got a very special guest coming all the way from the Guelph region.
Drum roll, please.
We got Quaid Waters. Woo! we need to add like the woo.
The effects,
Yeah.
We actually have a crowd behind
have a
all these
live
cameras,
audience.
guys. You don't
Live
see them,
studio
but it's sick.
Yeah. We should
Live
have
listening parties.
Yeah. And where like the applause and the laugh.
We should talk.
No,
Season
we should
3.
do that.
Season 3.
Yeah, they can sit on the blue chairs over there. That's good. Yeah,
Wow.
season 3 is going to look a lot different.
Yeah. Well, Quaid, probably top 3 names I've ever heard
Really?
composed. Quaid and Waters.
Quaid
Well,
Waters.
thank you so much.
Yeah. Hey, no worries.
It's a great name.
Yeah.
So we'll just we're excited to get to know you. We're excited to get to know your story. But we'll start it all off with, well, we know your region, but your program, your year, how you serve at your campus, and then we'll get into our icebreaker.
All right. Program is mechanical engineering. I'm in my second year. I think the next one was how I serve, right?
Yeah.
How I serve at my campus, I started last year serving on the worship team, playing piano for that.
Woo!
Nasty keys player.
And
Is he?
I'm not going to brag, but
When did you start playing piano?
ooh, that was years and years ago when I was but a child in I don't know, like 9 or something.
Dang.
So it's been
ASMR.
some time, but I love doing it. Yep.
That's
Like
good.
elementary school?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Well,
That makes sense.
yeah, it was quite that. I didn't like it as much when I started, but now that I've done it for so long, I've come around. I enjoy it now. But what else
That's
do I
good.
do at my? I'm also now just an apprentice at my campus. So that's,
awesome. Who are you apprenticing under?
I'm apprenticing under Jonathan.
Nice.
Hayes?
Yep,
That's sick.
the one and only.
That's so funny.
Nice.
Dang.
Awesome. Okay, well, we've got not
got
just
2 for
one,
you.
but 2.
Ooh,
Your special guy,
a
Quaid.
double feature.
Yeah, double icebreaker. We just really want to have the ice broken by the end of this. So
I think
Of
we should go
course.
with yours first.
okay. What is the weirdest food combo that you enjoy?
You were just talking
I've-
about the cereal and bananas. I don't think that counts.
No,
That's
no.
like a
That's not
that's
a
a
weird
W.
combo.
That's
That's
a
just
W
like
food combo.
That's like a balanced
regular
meal.
meal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've done some weird ones over the years.
Okay, perfect.
There's a lot.
I believe it.
There was one I did recently. Maybe this, I guess it is kind of weird, but I'll give you 2. There's one I did where I put rice on a burger. It was not too bad, actually. It tasted
Okay.
kind of good. And then another one, not very normal. I feel like you could put Nutella on almost anything.
No.
One of my friends had a big tub of Nutella, and we're just sitting in the cafeteria in high school, and someone also had a pizza. And so I spread the Nutella on the pizza, and it wasn't bad. It was kind of
What?
good.
You enjoyed it?
I enjoyed it.
What was it, like
people
pepperoni pizza?
yeah, it was good. It was pepperoni. It was.
Wow.
I just think the Nutella and the cheese don't go together.
Or the
I mean-
pepperoni, or the
Or the
tomato
rest of the
sauce.
whole pizza.
Or the tomato sauce.
It doesn't make sense, but when you try it, then you'll be like,
Okay.
"Whoa,
Maybe
it's
next
not that
episode
bad."
we'll do that.
Wow.
Start.
We'll
serving
have the
food on
Nutella
podcast.
pizza challenge.
Such a good idea. It's not even a challenge. It's like,
But that was like a one-time thing. Like, you don't do that anymore, right?
no, it's not like
okay.
on the regular. It
making
was
sure.
like, I just did it once.
If somebody orders pizza, you're bringing the Nutella.
I gotta.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
That was a good question to ask you then. I feel like we know a lot about you now.
You just send it.
That's such a high school
Yeah.
thing too.
Yeah,
Like a board in the high school cafeteria.
that was me almost every lunch.
True.
Okay, for our second icebreaker. I gotta
Such
read
a
it again.
strange question. Sorry, we're just bringing it up. This one.
What's the weirdest thing you've ever found?
Ooh, that's so vague. That's
We
so.
were reading these and we're like, what the heck is this question?
What? That's like
He said what he
That-
said. Weirdest thing you've
ever
ever found.
found. I mean, I'm gonna have to take like a quick second here to think about this. Weirdest thing I ever found.
Weirdest visual combo you've ever seen?
visual. That changes everything.
I was thinking more
yeah.
weirdest thing you've ever found, like on the side of the road and picked up and took home. That's what
Oh.
I'm thinking.
I
Okay,
mean,
I like that spin.
if we're going
I feel like
more to that,
Yeah,
then
that's better.
I got a pretty specific experience. Then that was also pretty recent.
Wow,
Well,
funny we asked.
All right,
It is,
send
it is
it.
funny. So when I arrived in Guelph this semester, I had got to my place and it was like new house, so we had kind of a lack of furniture and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was looking for chairs on Marketplace, and
Classic.
yeah, I just messaged, or I was just looking actually. I don't even think I was planning on going and getting one. And then my friend just like woke up, comes up behind me, he looks, he's like, "Oh, that's a nice chair. Let's go get it." And so then I was like, you know what? Okay, I'm not doing anything this morning. So we went on like a 45-minute walk to go pick up this
Wow.
massive lawn chair. And so I went to go get it. But then we looked across the street and there was also a really nice coffee table. So we were like, we can't just leave that behind. And it
You
like,
need a coffee table for the chair.
exactly.
Are they like
Yeah.
antiques? Do you have the like Marketplace listing?
It's a screensaver, actually.
It is no. I don't have the listing. I don't even the chair. I think that's probably taken down by now. But the table, I don't even know if that was on Marketplace. We just saw it on the side of the road. We're like 90% sure that they were
it's
giving
free.
it away.
Are they nice chairs?
The chair was
chair?
actually kind of garbage. It was
Oh.
it
It's
was
just the
really
lawn.
broken. It was one of those long lawn chairs.
Uh-oh.
Oh, like the Muskoka ones?
No, it wasn't that nice. It was like
Was it like the
you lay down
the
on
zero
it.
gravity chair where you like lean back?
No, that's also it's like those cheap ones you find at a water park.
Okay.
That
Oh, that's fire.
yeah. So we got that. But the table was the real thing that was actually
the
way
hidden
better.
gem.
Do you still have it?
We
in
do.
Your house?
It's
Wow.
still sitting in our
Both of
living
them?
room. Actually, the chair, I don't know where that went. I looked outside one day and it looks like a lot of stuff was moved around in our backyard, and I think maybe my landlord took it because he thought it was garbage. Because it definitely looked like garbage.
Did you pay for it?
No, it was free. So,
Oh, good.
yeah. I would have been a little concerned then, but
So did you walk the coffee table all the way back?
yep. So I walked for 45 minutes across Guelph
Just like-
with the coffee table, changed positions a couple times.
Yep.
Put it on my back, held it in front, ended up realizing it had like a space in the middle. And so I wore it kind of like a backpack.
Okay.
And that,
Change the game.
Dang.
it changed everything
In
from there
coffee
on
table
out.
transportation?
Exactly.
Wow.
So just a tip if you're ever transporting a coffee
Look
table.
for the backpack
Exactly.
slot.
I feel like
It's-
if I was at home visiting my family and I drove by and I saw people carrying a coffee table, I wouldn't think twice. I feel like that's so Guelph. That's so university town.
So engineer of you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
So engineer boy of you.
Okay, well, I can say the ice has officially been broken
I would think so.
and we're good to get right into it. Okay, first, serious question. What is a piece of scripture that has been most influential in your walk with Christ?
I feel like there was, like, over time, there's been, like, different scriptures that have been like, oh, I like that one. But recently, there was one I kind of just discovered last year that the second I read it, I was like, whoa, this is
How'd you
this is
discover
a good one. I was actually just looking at, like, the daily verses on, like, the app or something, and I was like, oh, let's read a bit more. So I clicked on it, whatever, and, like, I read longer in the passage, and I was like, whoa, this is actually, like, really good. It was 2 Corinthians 6:4-10, and I don't have it memorized, sadly, but I have it on my phone, and I'm going to pull
Let's
that
go.
out because I got to read it, of course. It's not too long, but it's a little long, so just bear with me for a second.
Yeah.
But it
We're
goes
here
like
for
this.
the ride.
It says, but in everything commending ourselves as servants of God, in much abundance, or in much endurance, in afflictions, in hardships, in difficulties, in beatings, in imprisonments, in mob attacks, in labors, in sleeplessness, in hunger, in purity, in knowledge, in patience, in kindness, in the Holy Spirit, in genuine love, by glory and dishonor, by evil report and good report, regarded as deceivers, and yet true, in the word of truth, and in the power of God, by the weapons of righteousness, for the left hand and the right, as unknown and yet well known, as dying and yet behold, we are alive, as punished and yet not put to death, as sorrowful, yet always rejoicing, as poor, yet making many rich, as having nothing, yet possessing all things. It's kind of a longer one, but I just really like it because it, like, talks about how, like, there's, like, there could be so much crazy stuff going on. It could even be good stuff that, like, because it listed some good stuff, some bad stuff that happens, but, like, in absolutely anything, always working to serve God. I just think it's a great verse.
Yeah.
That's good.
Oh, that's dope. And I feel like that kind of ties into the story that you have to share today about, like, everything going on from
Yeah.
your university life, which we're going to get into now. Yeah.
You know
That's
what?
dope.
I think that was a great segue that you tried to make there.
I tried.
You're a great podcast host.
Yeah, thanks. Co-host.
Okay, let's get into it. We'll start how we start most stories, just how you grew up, your family, your family's kind of faith background and how that shaped you, and then we will go from there.
All right.
The floor is yours.
Oh, thank you. So started off, I grew up in a Christian home and everything in
Welland, Ontario.
Ontario. It's a great city. Go and check it out.
Is it a city or a town?
It is a city.
Okay.
It's not that small, but still kind of small. But yeah, so grew up in a Christian home. I was going to church and different camps and stuff like that.
What camp?
And well, one camp that I went to when I was younger, it was called Agape Valley. It was close-ish to my home, but I went there and for a couple years when I was a kid, and then one time they talked about, like, giving your life to Christ, and at the time I honestly had no clue what they were talking about. I didn't really understand it because I was, like, very little. But I was like, sure, what the heck? Everyone else is doing it. I'll do it.
So you just raise your hand?
It was like we just, like, kind of went off into a side group, and I was like, there's less people not going than there were people going, so I went.
Wow.
So that.
Going with the crowd towards Christ. I mean,
It's a good crowd. So there's
it's a good
worse
crowd
things.
to follow.
Exactly.
Worse things to get peer pressure.
Yeah.
That is definitely true. So yeah, I mean, that all happened. But then the one thing was, like, that I kind of got convicted of as, like, I was still, like, growing up in the church and everything, is, like, I kind of was starting to actually learn more about Christ and who he is and what it actually means to become a follower and give your life to Christ. And kind of started to understand that more. So as I grew up, I kind of realized I like had that need and desire that you have like for Christ, that I didn't really understand that time back at the camp when I was just a kid. So there was one time where so like at my church back in Welland, there was our pastor always at the end of every service, he'll always invite people to give their life to Christ, just to give them the chance, right? If they never heard it, or it could be like their first time even hearing about this whole thing about like how you can even follow Christ, right? So he always gives them the chance. And I was just sitting back in like the sound booth doing sound that one week. And
how old are you?
I was like, I think maybe like 14, 13, something
doing
like that.
Sound?
Yep.
Jeez.
So that was, we were a little low on sound. We're even lower on sound. People know I think it's just my brother who does it there.
Oh.
But yeah, he's kind of single-handedly doing that back home. But yeah.
There's no production team. It's just him.
He's the production team.
Yeah.
Yep. So good luck to him with that. But yeah, so I was sitting back there doing sound. And when he was like saying that, like I had heard him say it before other weeks too and stuff, right? But this time I kind of been like realizing, because now that I actually think about it now, I'm pretty sure the main reason why I kind of thought about it this time and I was like wanted to kind of like give my life to Christ in a sort of like, I don't know if you'd say it's like a rededication or something like that, just because in the sense that like I did when I was a kid but didn't really understand it. But at the time, I'm pretty sure, I don't think I mentioned this before, but I was, that same camp, I was signing up to volunteer with that camp actually. Like again, as like a leader. LIT. And so I was doing all that. And they wanted me to like tell them my story of like how I became a Christian and all that, right? Because they want to have like credible leaders and all that, right? So they know they're actually a Christian, and not just some random dude they're letting into
lead their children.
Exactly, yeah. So that was what started getting me thinking about my faith and everything, and I was like realizing I really didn't fully understand what I was doing, even though I still did it. And so then, sitting back in the sound booth, I had heard him say this. And so then that time I kind of took that opportunity to resurrender my life to Christ, to like really want to try and follow him and everything, because I kind of now fully grasp the concept of what that all meant and everything.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. I know you kind of mentioned your brother, but I want to get into a little bit more about your family and your family life growing up, because you have an interesting story to share with your family that I think is really unique and cool.
Yeah. So growing up, it was quite a crowded house all the time. There was my parents, I had older sister, 2 younger brothers, and then also growing up, my parents would take care of these people who had disabilities, because it started out because my dad worked at this place called Community Living. It's where they like provide like supports and run group homes and stuff like that for people with disabilities to help them be able to like function on their own and stuff like that, right? So throughout that whole process, my dad has gotten to like know a lot of the people there really well and everything, and some of them, the people who he supported, don't like, their parents are getting at the point where they're too old to be able to take care of them anymore, because it's it gets difficult for them, because it still is a bit of work and stuff, right? So what happened is I'm like, this is to the extent what I know, but I don't even know how it just kind of started out of nowhere, because it is kind of like, I've never thought about it too much, but it is kind of crazy that they just like, what they did is they like opened their home to them and like allowed them to live with them now. Some of the people who can't live with their parents anymore because their parents aren't able
Can't
to take
support
care of
them,
them.
yeah.
So what happened is we renovated our garage, and this was all like before I was born.
Wow.
But yeah, so they renovated our garage into 3 extra bedrooms so that we could have them live with us. And so growing up though, this was normal life for me because I like had
That's all
been
you've ever known.
I was born into it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I grew up living with them all the time, and they're all great people, and everything is always so fun, always made life more interesting and everything,
Yeah.
so much going on in the house and everything. But
and like you were telling me this when we were having like our pre-convo earlier, and I think, yeah, you're like, oh yeah, it's just how I grew up, it was just my family, and I was like, that's so cool, that's so special. It's I was like, not to get super like lift termy, but you grew up in an open home. You grew up in a home that like was a constant display of hospitality, and like what a beautiful picture to grow up in.
no, yeah, for sure. It was definitely great. And then as I grew up too and got older, like it was still always kind of that sense of like an open home and everything, because after that there would always be like other people at our house or whatever. Like I would always have like one of my friends from church would always come over all the time and stuff, and then there'd just always be people in our house a lot, so it was just such a fun environment growing up and everything. I really enjoyed it.
And it's so cool just as a family to like be so connected, and to just like have your family unit, but it's not that family unit is like the hyper independent, closed off white picket fence, like no one comes in kind of thing. Like the fact that there's like such openness in what's usually like a very closed off family unit is really cool and countercultural.
No, yeah, for sure. And then actually what's kind of funny though is also that it's so like open that like the one friend I was saying that always would go over, and then also my sister's boyfriend too, the both of them, when me and my sister went like away to school and everything like last year and stuff, they would still be going over to our home when we weren't even there. So like
That's so cool.
I wasn't even there, but my friend was still going over, hanging out with my younger brothers and stuff.
Wow.
And then same with my sister's boyfriend too. They would just all go over there even though we were still away at school and stuff. But it was just so nice that it was just like a nice, such a loving community and everything. But yeah, and I was blessed to have parents who were able to bring me up in such a loving home like that.
Yeah.
Because would you guys just like always do like everything together, like dinner?
No, yeah, everything was always like together. It was almost like you can't do that separate from us. Like you better include everybody else.
That's cool.
Wow.
But-
That's really awesome.
No, yeah, for sure.
Wow, gotta make a trip to the Waters household.
It's a great place.
I have to say, one of my like best friend growing up, her house was, I was one of those friends that was a part of like my best friend's family. And to this day, some of my like greatest memories growing up, I also like love my family, great relationships, but it's like when you have a friend's home where that is like a second home to you, where like that is safe and you're loved by the whole family, like it's so special.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And it definitely like stayed with your friends and made a lasting impact. Yeah, that's great. Okay. And then what year did you start university again? You're in second year, so
I'm in second year.
2023.
Yeah, so I just started last year.
So you grew up in Welland. What made you choose Guelph? And then how was the transition into university?
So, I mean, what made me choose Guelph was it was the only school that accepted me. But that's
Where
not to
else
put
did you
down
apply?
Guelph.
Or we can leave that out. Actually.
It was here, Mac.
No.
They didn't let me in.
We could have had Quaid Waters
That's
here.
wild.
Gosh darn. I mean,
Sugar.
I think it worked out, though. I am actually so much more glad that I ended up at Guelph.
Yeah.
Oh.
No offense to Mac, no
Yeah.
offense.
No, thanks, Quaid.
But
I'm offended.
I would not
I'm
have been
actually
able to make it.
unoffendable.
Are you?
I'm unoffendable. Yeah.
Good.
I mean, that's great. No, but yeah, so ended up at Guelph. I'm glad I ended up there, even though it wasn't what I was expecting. I didn't really see it coming, but went to Guelph. So started out going there, and I guess in the process of going there, like before going there, I was kind of like unsure and all that. I wasn't too sure how the whole thing would work out, because to kind of get into like just jump face first into like a deeper topic, I was like dealing with like depression a little bit before that.
Yeah.
And it was kind of rough, and like I wasn't sure how I'd be able to handle it, where I was like away from my family and all that. Couldn't really talk to them about all that stuff, because like they're obviously not living with me at Guelph, right?
Yeah.
But so I was pretty worried about that, and that was also why I was kind of glad that it was at Guelph, because it's not too far. It was only an hour and a half from where I lived, which was nice. So yeah, I went there, and I was so worried about that. But then once I got to Guelph, it was kind of the strangest thing. It was the complete opposite. What happened is I thought it would be like I would be so overwhelmed with stress and like be so like just secluded the whole time and sad and everything. But I ended up like completely like just being surrounded by people all the time, and always like I was able to find a lot of great friends there and hang out with so many people all the time that I didn't almost, and it like it sounds, but I didn't have time to be depressed, if anything. Like, so it was like I was just doing so much. But then there was also the whole kind of thing of, yeah, I was kind of doing stuff, but I still like I didn't really have people to talk to about like different things or whatever like that were going on and stuff like that, because like all my friends then were like pretty much all non-Christians and stuff, and so
Yeah.
like it was nice to hang out with them, and it got my mind off of things and whatever, right? But it was still just not.
There's something missing. Like there's
Yeah.
there's a missing layer when you can't connect on like a spiritual level with your faith backgrounds.
Exactly. Yeah. And then that kind of leads me into, I found Lift Church, and like within the first month, I kind of found out about it because I saw like a poster hanging up in one of the buildings. I think it was in the engineering building there. I saw a poster hanging up, and I was like, "Your church on campus?" I was like, "That's convenient."
Sounds
'Cause
like
were you
exactly what I
looking-
want.
I was looking because I was like, I gotta find a church, right? Like I can't just not go to church.
Yeah.
And so in the process of looking for one, because I hadn't found one yet, I saw that, and I was like, that's
You didn't
my
even
type of
find
church.
it. It found you.
Exactly.
Wow.
The poster was just staring right at me, and it was like, you should go to Lift Church. And so I was like, that's nice, because I don't have to walk far. I don't have to like pull out Google Maps.
45-minute walk.
Exactly. Yeah, not a 45-minute walk with the table. It's just a 5-minute walk across
And the
campus.
table's already there.
Exactly. It was so convenient. And then I also found out they had free meals, so that was great too. But I didn't even have the free meals when I first started going, actually, because I was going, and I really wanted to gradually ease myself into it. Because like I was like slightly like a bit shy about like meeting new people and whatever, and so I was like, I didn't want to just go there and be like, oh yeah, I'm going to this, I'm going to this, I'm going to this. So I was like, I'll go to the service first, and then I'll quickly go back to my dorm after service is
You were
over.
a runner.
I may or may not have been. I can neither confirm nor deny, but
I was
yeah,
also.
I definitely was. But
Yeah.
yeah, so that happened, and then one time, I believe it was I think it was Jesse, yeah, who was probably talking to me after the service, and he was trying to get to know who I was and whatever, right? And then I went to the potluck because he was like, you got to come to the potluck. And I was
You
like,
have to.
okay, I guess I will. And so I went to that, and then he was also talking to me about Simple Church. He's like, you got to come to Simple Church. And so within this was maybe the second or third week I've been going, I was planning on gradually going in, and then all of a sudden now I'm hooked up with the Simple Church and everything now. And then at maybe the next Simple Church or the one after or something, then he finds out that I play the piano. And so now I'm on the worship team too. And this was very much not gradual at all. And it was out of nowhere, just kind of got heavily involved. But
You're just on worship the next week.
Then pulls up to retreat and plays worship for retreat.
and that happened too.
Wow.
And I didn't
Wow.
even actually see that one coming either. And then
That's so that's very small region core too,
yeah, no, and it was
which is awesome.
great. Yeah, it's funny you bring up the retreat thing too, though, because I actually I had the same mindset with that too, where I was like, I could go to the retreat, but I could also just stay home. And then it was
Bro, we were trying to get a hold of this guy for so long. I'm like, am I picking this guy up?
yeah, I'm kind of bad with messaging people back and stuff like that. Yeah, well, I mean, messaging people back, especially with the podcast. I think I got messaged
Did you?
3 months ago to be on this, and then I totally did not see that. But here I am, and now I'm here.
Wow. The Lord made it happen.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, and so yeah, I was trying to gradually not go to the retreat, and then I was like, maybe I might go later. But I'm so glad I went because it was such a great experience.
Mm-hmm.
And then I immediately was like, I'm going to the summer one too. I got to go to that.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
sick.
And
Yeah.
I feel like if you grew up in a camp context, it's
Yeah.
retreat is just such a beautiful time.
Oh no, yeah. I went to loads of camps with growing up and all that,
Mm-hmm.
helping out with camps at my church and everything. I always loved doing that stuff and everything.
Mm-hmm. How was your faith kind of in the transition to university, and then joining a Simple Church and getting involved, and how'd you feel your faith strengthen? How'd your relationship with God change?
I mean, going through university, I would say I had a pretty strong faith with God and everything, and it was all going well and everything and all that. And yeah, it was going to Simple Church and all that. That was always really helpful, I'd say, to help continually keep me in check with God and everything. And things were going smoothly, but then things also weren't going smoothly right after. So kind of what happened is this fun thing called academic probation happened where I was on it for too long, and then they're like, actually, you can't take classes after a little bit. You need to take a break. So it was kind of in a position where it's well, I didn't see that coming at all, but now I'm also in a position where I'm I really have to trust that God is doing something, or that I can trust that, even though it seems really crazy, maybe he's doing something. I don't know what he's doing, but it's something, that's for sure. So it was surprising though, because I feel he's really been able to give me the a strong faith to follow him, because I don't know, I feel I should be more fazed by this, but I'm not, and it's really not that bad. So like I've been able to just like learn to trust him more, which kind of like connects back to that verse, like I said way at the beginning or whatever, about like trusting him through like all different types of hard times and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
and it's almost like looking back, you can be like, the Lord has never not provided. So
Exactly,
why?
yeah.
So like, why would I? Like, I don't have a reason to not trust that He knows what He's doing.
exactly, yeah. And like I have this like mindset where if why like I trust the Lord, right? Like I know He wants to help me, and even though there could be like stuff going on where I'm like, I don't know how the heck this is supposed to help me in any way, and maybe it just straight up doesn't help me, but like there's always something bigger going on you don't know about, right? And
Yeah.
as like I feel like at the core of it, all you can do is just make sure you're continually following God and doing what He wants you to do.
Mm-hmm.
And if you continue to do that, like He loves you, why would He not want to be there for you? Because He is. So
Mm-hmm. The Lord works for the good of those that love Him. That's scriptural.
I believe it.
What was I gonna say? I was gonna say something that was really good, but I'll pass it on to you, and I'll see if I think of it.
So you're kind of in this season where you like are on something academic probation, which a lot of people don't really know what it is and are like scared of it. And you kind of got over that speed bump,
yeah.
like just by looking back and seeing how God has like always made a way. And even like now, like you're blessed with this time to like apprentice and
Yeah. No, so it worked out for that.
yeah. Like what other like ways are you like applying that same mindset of like having that provision?
I mean, there was been a couple ways, but there's one thing actually that kind of it's a very like specific thing that kind of like is going on like at the start of the semester and stuff, but it's where it's got that like exact same kind of idea to it where if I continue to follow God, He'll be able to provide, right? So I was like getting food and whatever and getting groceries as one does, and I was thinking like, oh, like I could like hide it all in my room and like shove it all into my tiny fridge so nobody can take my food, and like be like, you can't take any of my food and tell that to all my roommates. But then I was also like, okay, I could also like share the stuff too, and I'm like thinking out of the two options, I'm pretty sure which one Jesus wants me to do. And so I was like, okay, let's be like, okay, I'll let them know that they can use my stuff and whatever. And I'm like thinking to myself, is that a stupid idea? Because then I might run out of food. But I'm like realizing, yeah, maybe it might sound stupid, but like it's God we're talking about. Like He doesn't just leave you, right? So like,
Yeah.
and it's kind of crazy how it's worked out, because it's like, yeah, maybe they might like take some of the food that I took because I said they could, right? But there's been so many times where it's like one of my roommates is now making a meal and he's like, oh, I got extra food, you want dinner or whatever,
Yeah.
or like someone else. And then there's also like meals at after church and whatever, and that at our simple church. And like we just started meals at our simple church this year, and so it was like kind of crazy
Nice.
how that all worked out. And so like I've been like being fed in so many other different ways that I didn't even see it coming.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't even have to, or I feel like I'm spending less money on groceries than I ever would have thought. But but it's kind of crazy how it's like when you like choose to follow God and you actively are doing that, you don't actually have to worry as
Yeah.
much about making sure you're provided for, because God will do that.
Yeah.
Like He's not going
100%.
to not bless your obedience,
Exactly. Yeah. So he's,
which is like whether big or small, it's like He's going to bless it.
Yeah. And it's like creating that culture even in your house of openness, of sharing, of generosity.
Exactly,
and
yeah.
and like you've already seen it be given back, which is awesome. And it's like, and even just sharing a meal is one of the greatest ways to connect within a house, within a simple church. And yeah, creating that like rhythm in your houses, it'll definitely have its impacts.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's great.
Even just like how, like, you see the, like, blessing in, like, getting fed from other things. But I think one of the most important ways that this, like, comes back to you is how God uses it as, like, a seed in, like, your roommates' lives.
No, yeah, that for sure. Because then it
So, like, why are you sharing this with me?
exactly.
Like,
yeah.
my family was, like, was raised like this. And we also went to church. Like, both those things.
Yeah, I gonna be honest, I didn't even kind of realize the parallel of how I'm now treating my house, how like
Yeah.
how my home was like growing up and everything, and how it's kind of
Yeah.
like now starting to parallel that.
And you can kind of see like how a lot of the values that you like, you probably again didn't even think about because it was all you know, but like now you're in a new place and now you like have the ability to create that same like lifestyle for yourself.
No, yeah,
And it's awesome. Like we carry what we grew up with into our adult lives.
100%, yeah.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah.
No.
What would, if there was a guy in your simple church that was maybe a little younger, maybe in first year, and was nervous about grades and the and like looming academic probation and just not knowing like the unknown of academics, knowing what you know and having experienced like peace even in the unknown times of academic probation, but still seeing fruit in those seasons, what would you say?
I mean, probably I'd say that you can always take extra years to finish your degree. That's for sure. But also, who like, not to make it scary or anything, but who knows if you even do finish the degree like in the end. But I feel like the main thing is just to kind of realize that if you're having like continually taking it all to God and making sure like you serve him and you are always bringing it back to God and always bringing these problems to God and not just kind of like holding them to yourselves and being like, oh, this is terrible, and just worrying about it on your own, then he'll look after you. And maybe the way he looks after you may not be what you think. It may like you may even end up not even being in the program that you're in and being like completely switched over to a whole different career change or whatever. But you can at least trust that God has your best interest like in mind, and that he'll be there like guiding the way, even though it may seem like the way is not exactly what you thought it was.
Yeah. And like he has a bigger story in mind. It's not just what is going to make you happy in the moment. It's what's going to make you more holy long term, and the character that's going to be built through challenges. And I like how you talk about like using the season that you're in. Like you're in a season where maybe you have a bit more time and the apprenticeship is starting and you're on worship, and like you're using this time to be proactive in other ways.
Exactly.
Which is so great.
Yeah, because it like may like actually one other, just to kind of like add on, I've also like it may not seem like a blessing, but like it can be in weird ways, because I actually kind of realized later on that if I didn't have this short period of time where I'm not in school, I don't think I would have had like enough money to also continually pay for rent, school, and groceries all like at the same time. So like he's given me this short amount of time where I can like also get a job and work for a bit longer so that I can be able to like survive the next semester and everything. So it's like I didn't notice that at first, but like God's looking out. So like,
Yeah.
Wow.
Bigger story in mind. That's great. That's awesome.
Oh, that's dope.
Well, thanks for coming in. Thanks for sharing your
thanks
story.
for having me.
Yeah. Can we wrap it up by praying for you?
For sure.
How can we pray for you in this season?
Yeah, I'm still looking for a job, so that would definitely be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. No, for sure. I can bless it.
Perf.
Father God, I thank you for this day that you have made and all the days in this week and this month and this year that you have already gone ahead and made a way. I thank you for my brother Quaid that we were able to welcome on to the podcast and just share his story about how you have always provided, that you are the God of provision and you are the God that makes a way in every situation, and that is true in the life that you have given Quaid, and that is such a testament and encouragement. And I pray that all those who would hear this episode would just feel encouraged in the situations that may be similar to Quaid's, or other areas where they are struggling with being obedient to you. I pray that they would just know that you are the God who blesses obedience. Just thank you for Quaid's heart and all the ways that he has just surrendered to you. And I pray that you just bless the desire of his heart to find a job in this season. I pray that he would continue to be reminded and to remember that you will provide, regardless of if it looks like what we may think it looks like or not. God, I pray that, you would just answer with urgency as he nears the end of the term. I pray that the perfect job will see fit, and we know that only you can provide that. And God, I pray over his apprenticeship in this season with Jonathan. I pray that the discipleship there would multiply and extend far beyond that relationship, but into even the guys in Quaid's house and all the guys that he disciples in the future at Guelph. And God, I just pray and thank you for all this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Well, this is great.
Yeah. Quaid, it was a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
It's dope reuniting since winter retreat and summer retreat. Yeah.
That's good. Okay. We're going to cut it off here. It's been a long episode, but a good one. We're going to sign off. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on the Just Like You podcast.